Welcome back. I'm Thomas. This is, everybody say your name?
Alice.
Diamond!
David.
And we are playing Dungeons & Dragons. This is our 5th edition game, A Bard's Tale. We are right back in the thick of it at a party in the Feywild. It is a dinner date with a mad mage, and the team, the bard has just overheard a pixie tell a sprite, or suggest that a sprite use its heart's touch power, essentially its ability to judge worthiness of a creature, on the one with the crab, says the pixie.
I'm gonna click-clack through the earphones. Whatever that pixie did to Stan, you're next. It sounds like they want to find out how worthy you are. So hold whatever you can in your heart, maybe how much you adore Lovelace.
Don't ready your weapon, but get ready to ready your weapon.
I'm a bard. It's already ready.
I was talking to Stan mostly.
Oh.
Okay, what was that? Sorry.
Don't ready your weapon, but get ready to ready your weapon. I don't know how this is gonna go. How this is gonna play out.
Think about how much you adore Lovelace and how important she is to you. That's probably going to get you through this.
As you guys are talking, the pixie the sprite seems to pick up on something and starts floating your direction. It takes the figure 4, fairy position, and just starts floating your way on dragonfly wings. Unsheathes its little pine needle. Comes floating your direction. Again, the crowd hushes.
By the way, after the session, Diamond, I'm gonna explain to you why that was terrible advice. Continue.
It reaches you, and this time kind of looks over its shoulder both ways to make sure that everyone's looking, and sticks his hand out.
I have a small hand anyway, so it's not nearly as bad.
Right, he gets a whole finger of yours.
I can pinch gently and
Okay. Make me a charisma save.
Oh God. 12.
Okay. What's your alignment? I knew Stan's off the top of my head. What's yours?
Chaotic good.
Okay, that's what I thought. Wanted to confirm. How would you describe your current emotional state? And I should also have Stan do this.
Amusement.
Relatively calm. Very not jumpy, but I'm aware of my surroundings. I'm alert, but I'm not paranoid.
Okay. Cautious.
Just hunter's awareness, just knowing what all is in the forest.
Okay.
Genuine curiosity that is tempered by reason.
Okay.
And my own knowledge.
So once again, from its forearm, a little kind of floating motes of light tickle across your finger, and it breaks the grasp, looks you in the eye, kind of floats its way back, looks again off both shoulders, and then once again pulls out a big dramatic flourish as though he is presenting you to the crowd, sheathes his sword, and goes back to the table.
Lovelace and I wave in unison.
Everybody claps. He goes back and starts chatting with the fairies for a while, or with the pixies. They're all. The pixies, by the way, are generally feminine or effeminate. and have butterfly type wings. They leave trails of dust behind them.
Can I say, like, David, I understand why that was a bad idea. Struana doesn't. I get it.
Right.
Struana's got no. She really doesn't get it.
My affection for Lovelace goes feral and vicious real quick.
Yeah, Diamond gets that. Struana doesn't really get that.
There's about 2%. Oh, I love her. She's my best friend. And 98%. I will fucking kill anybody who looks at her wrong. She almost died once.
Yeah.
So, the festivities continue. Mad Weight Mod comes from around a corner carrying one chair, and there are two floating behind him, and on all of them are dishes of food that he's trying to carefully balance on all of them. It's basically the worst way he could have chosen to bring out a round of food, of dishes and food. But he was looking for chairs, and he got distracted. And it's like, has anyone seen my book? Oh, god damn it, that's why we're... Starts setting down the chairs and mage hands the like various dishes onto tables and has to mix them around a little bit. Like, wait a minute, no, the willow bark is for the beaver and the corn nuts are for the... Wait, what? No, that's... Who ordered which thing? People are just grabbing food now.
I am continuing to chat with whomever is around me
Okay.
politely, but trying to drive conversation towards Maud and the book. And maybe a little bit of the Summer Queen.
Okay. Well, as soon as you bring up the book in front of Maud, he's like, "Ah, yes! I have been meaning to ask you everything you know about the book. Tell me. Give me everything. I know you're here for a reason." Right? There must be a reason.
There's absolutely a reason.
Excellent.
I don't know yet.
Lay it on me.
Maud, I don't know yet if it's the book or not, but I want to find out.
I'm not sure how to take that.
It must have been a while since someone's been just straightforward with you.
Do you mean that you don't know anything about the book?
I don't know that I don't know anything about the book. I need more information to know if I know anything about the book.
Which book do you know about?
I mean, frankly, I know about a lot of books.
Well, name them.
Literally not possible in the time we have.
Oh, time! I'm still worried about time. I forget. You must be fresh off one of those planes that worry about time. The Feywild doesn't work like that, child. So, go ahead.
Just no. I'm not listing every book I know. But
Could you
also
list the
a
ones
thing
you
about the
don't know?
Feywild-
We could make sure you
Some-
know the book. If you list the ones you don't know, I could see if it's there.
The thing is, sometimes in the Feywild, a book is not just a book.
Of course it's not just a book, it's the book! It's... I can't
What
believe
do you
I'm
know
having to
about-
explain you to this. I mean, to this, I explain you... Ah. It looks like he's collecting it. I can't believe I'm having to explain this to you. I've prayed for... Why? Well, Mr. Beaver, how long have I been doing the thing in the woods that you always complain about? Oh.
Gods don't often send manuals with their quest givers.
But that's just it. It's the book. There's a book. Oh, with you, you didn't, of course, come with the book. I've been asking for someone to help me find the book, and because I've more or less given up. I mean, it's nice here.
How long have you been looking for the book? How long?
A time again. That's really not the way it works here. I mean,
Oh,
how
fair enough.
long have you been here, and how long do you think it's been since you were here? They're not the same question.
Have you always been here?
Probably not. I'm not the sort of person that just shows up there, that just springs out of nowhere here. I've probably come from somewhere else. I'm relatively sure of it.
Tell me, Maud, if you can tell me what you know about the book, we can work on helping you find it. You're the next chapter in our story, I think.
It is a book, and I'm sworn to find it. It calls to me in my dreams and in my sleep. I don't know what it is, but I know what's in it.
What does it look like?
Everything. All the entirety of knowledge. Everything even gods have forgotten. It is the record of all things thought, done, made, destroyed. It's the book.
Is it big?
Well, it would probably have to be, right?
What kind of knowledge check it is to get anything from what he's saying?
I give you a history.
Either that or luck.
19.
Is it total?
Mm-hmm.
You've never heard of this thing, but you have heard of items so powerful that they can grant warlock abilities. And that seems to be what you're dealing with here. The swearing that he talks about sounds a lot like a warlock pact as you dig into it. The actual thing, I mean, it sounds like an artifact, a book with all the stuff in it. I mean, there's... theoretically, it could be the library or the library of the bards on Angelwing Isle. They're supposed to have similar powers. It's not so unheard of, but you don't know of a single book that does this thing.
How did you lose the book?
Oh, I've never had it. I've never even seen the thing outside the dreams. I think, well, he sort of looks at everyone at the dinner table, and they all kind of like roll their eyes and look away like they've all seen this before. And just kind of like look away and get into a conversation elsewhere, and all the pixies kind of circle up and titter. He's like, "Don't show anyone. This is a secret. But I've collected," and he pulls out from under his robe a locket with sort of a circular locket, and he opens it up, and it seems much bigger on the inside than the outside. And inside of it are little just like slivers and scraps of, I mean, it's probably paper. It looks like the bottom of a pocket. Just the like little tiny scraps and things of paper and wrappers that have come from the bottom of someone's pocket.
Where did you come from?
And then he closes it again. I don't want any of them to escape. But the more of them I put together, the more secrets I gain. Yes! Sorry, I switched my voices there for a minute. I don't know why I got gruff and weird for a second.
Happens to the best of us.
The more I find, the more power I gain. It's very strange.
Is he talking to all of us or just the bard?
If any of you crowd in, he's hoping that any of you have any of this information.
I'm watching, but I kind of have not left my owl friend.
Okay.
Stan, where are you?
Where am I?
Yeah.
Yeah, I would crowd close. I'm interested in hearing what he says.
I want to try something that I don't think will work,
Okay.
but Stan, do you have greater restoration?
Let me see. I don't think so. I have lesser restoration.
Huh.
And remove curse, dispel magic.
I don't know what kind of effect the memory stuff of the Feywild is,
That'd be an Arcana
but
check.
if we can clear his mind a bit,
Yeah.
I'm willing to bet the Bard has a higher Arcana than I do.
If you want to give me advantage, that might help out.
Yeah, I'll do that.
Okay.
Yeah, let's just say I've been having this conversation in character over the thing, like da 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 da.
That's really nice. Because if you're advantage, I got 28.
Exceptional.
Yeah.
The first roll was a 2. The second roll was a 19.
Nice.
Thank you.
Go
Nice.
team!
Woo!
All right. So as far as the Feywild memory alteration,
And like that, and specifically anything sort of that we can do to help him get a little bit more clarity just for a minute.
there might be some cleric things that could be done. As far as really generally with the Feywild, the only way to get it back in any lasting, meaningful way is a wish. But a remove curse could maybe temporarily, like remove curse plus a restoration spell might get you some amount of clarity, but it wouldn't last, and no telling how much is even there anymore. Like it's not. He just doesn't have certain memories anymore. That's been excised from his brain and turned into fairy stories.
If it gives him clarity long enough for me to write it down, that's more than we have right now.
Okay.
I can give that a shot. I've removed curse and lesser restoration.
Both I don't have, so it's all Stan.
Wow.
So I'm gonna, since we're having this conversation, like, Maud, let's help you try to remember some so that we can find the book.
I'm trying to tell you, I've never known. That's all. I've mostly just followed the winds of fate, and it's worked out so far.
I'm just sort of hoping that Stan is like coming up on my side here while he's talking to me. Stan, are you?
Yeah. And he puts his
back.
hand on his shoulder and says and mutters the spell under his breath for remove curse.
Okay.
And all curses affecting one creature or object end. Yep.
And he turns back into 5 squirrels in a trench coat.
And then I'll keep my hand there and perform lesser restoration as well.
Is there any kind of save or roll that you have to make, or is there something you have to do to make the curse? Like, is it just you hit it and quit it? It's done?
As I understand it, it is hit it and quit it.
Okay.
It's at your all curses affecting one creature or object end, and it's instantaneous.
Okay.
There's no check in case they're unconscious. You can just do it anyway.
Okay. So the eyes lighten and sort of get a little clarity. But the most striking thing that happens is that Maud's whole demeanor, I mean, like, whole exterior set of features changes. He goes from an old ragged man to a very, very young, wild person. Like just like rugged features, kind of camouflaged coloring in his skin, just like ruddy, strange features.
I'm immediately drawing this as fast as I can.
Maud, are you okay?
Oh, I'm all
How you
right.
feeling?
I feel great. Must be the tea.
So we were talking about the book.
Well, certainly. That's the whole reason you're here.
Yeah. What can you tell us? What more can you tell us about the book?
I really, really, really had hoped that this whole conversation would go the other way around. The reason I've been calling out and asking for some other seekers to join me is because I don't know what's going on. I have no information. I've come across a few scraps. I've dreamed up some bits and pieces. I seem to just travel hither, thither, and yon. But every time I have some little bit of success, but I haven't had any in so long. I've probably just...
Is there a mirrored surface nearby?
How mirrored?
There can be. You want a mirror?
Okay. I want to show him what he looks like.
Okay. Huh.
If you say that over the headphones.
Yeah.
It just looks a little like, oh, that's a familiar face. It's, I think that's me, right?
It is.
That's
No, it is
definitely
you.
me. Great. Who are you anyway? Where do you come from?
Not from the Feywild.
I hoped so, because otherwise this would have been a whole ridiculous loop. You've got to come from somewhere else.
Well, we're looking for a book too.
Oh? Is it the same book, you think?
It may be. It would be a pretty lousy story if it wasn't.
It's true. It's a book that's also a door. I think.
Doesn't sound fun. Well, there was once upon a time a whole culture of people who put sort of extra planar little worlds and stuffed them into books where people could go and live and things. And is that what you're talking about?
I don't know, Thomas. Is that what I'm talking about?
Not really. I mean, those are books that are doors.
It doesn't sound quite like what we're looking for.
Yeah, I don't think that sounds like what I'm looking for either. That's, although maybe, what if it was? What if it was just something? I'm sorry, I was being rude. What was it you were looking for?
What fey creature, does the creature that you made that pact with have a name?
Me?
Can we share that with him?
Every time I try to say it, my voice just goes...
It's like the air refuses to resonate with the sound.
A nameless one with a crow.
Your pact? Wait. You've... you're not... Wait. I'm confused now. More confused now. What's your swearing?
If he's holding a drink, I cheer him when he says he's confused.
Excellent, Clink.
We're looking for a door, you're looking for a book, and a crow told us you're the next chapter. So I think we're supposed to help you find the book, but we don't know anything about it.
Hmm.
But if we don't start looking, we'll never have started looking.
I can see what you mean. You do know that in the Feywild, time is very slippery, right? I mean, it could already have been thousands of years since you popped in on the beach.
Please don't remind me. I'm gonna have...
Did you not have... you said there was some sort of powerful Fey? Did they not brief you or give you some
No.
sort of... Well, the most powerful of Fey are able to pinpoint at will this time puzzle that the Feywild sort of unwinds around the material. Are you well schooled in cosmology? Any of you?
Yes.
Have you got an orrery? I should go find an orrery. This will help me explain it.
All right, guys, what are we? I'm a little bit wit's end. I can talk through all of
I've
this,
been looking
but not
for
for
my
a
spells.
group.
I'm trying to find something.
We're trying to get information from someone that Fey creatures find quixotic and confusing.
Should we just take him with us and start heading a direction?
Yeah,
Oh,
probably.
God, do we have to take him with us?
So, when we were on the beach, the crow said that someone will be along shortly to help you with the next chapter, and he is the next creature of any type that we saw. It stands to story reason that he's the next chapter.
Or we got on the wrong bus.
What if you'd
Take
have waited
your poison,
5
Dan.
more minutes at the beach?
Yeah. There's a centaur with a book waiting at the beach going, where are they?
So he comes back relatively quickly, like as though the clearing of your head has also helped him navigate his own home, and
You're welcome.
and he brings back a cosmic orrery, which is you know, like a mechanical representation of the planes and how they interact, and it's got little ticking measurements, and it's fairly intricate and seems accurate to a point. And he points to one and says, "Here's the Feywild. You can see it forms sort of a gauzy, thin layer over the material plane, and what it does is sort of filter out all the more intense energies that are thrown at the material plane, and keeps it from being a little, you know, too variable. It's sort of a shield, really. Helps buffer the interaction between the planes and the material plane."
It's like an air filter.
All right, if you say so, I believe you. We can talk all about that later. But that's the whole point. Was we need to find the book. The book is the important part. There are reasons that I'm sure I realized that it was in the Feywild. I've probably followed, and he pulls up his locket, a little trail of breadcrumbs all the way here, and I imagine that I have some sort of evidence somewhere around that it's in. I certainly need help.
His augury, does it look like it was owned by a scholar?
The orrery? Yes, it's very
Augury.
yeah, it's very intricate, it's a precision tool. It's not a decoration.
I asked to look at it.
This is definitely a click-clack, come here moment.
Yeah. You don't need to say anything. I've already walked up and.
Okay, he sets it on the table, and Gets interrupted by some pixies for a second. They sort of like flit around and they have sort of a conversation in Sylvan. It sounds like tinkling bells. And he answers in pseudo Sylvan. I don't know. That's they're just talking to him about like where do they find more sugar for the water, et cetera, et cetera. Hosting stuff. Hey, look at me. Did you see this trick I did? Blah, blah, blah. And then Struana, I need you to give me a charisma save.
Oh, God.
20.
Okay.
Nice.
How would you describe your current state of mind?
Determined, concerned, a little bit guilty. Remorse, not just guilty, remorseful.
Okay.
Remorseful is a better.
I'd buy that. Okay. You feel like a little warmth, like a ray of sunshine has hit the back of your neck, in sort of a way that made the hair on the back of your neck tingle.
Turn around.
Nothing there. You make a perception test if you want.
I don't see anything.
Nope. Just a stray sunbeam. Must have wanted to give you a little pet, because that seems like something that just might happen in the Feywild.
So, do we want to head a direction? Is there...
Madweight Maud's attention starts to drift back toward you guys. He sort of brushes off the fairies. Yes, go find it. It's in the... Well, we head to the marsh. Didn't I tell you that part?
No.
Oh, well, that's the direction, but I mean, you don't really know what's there, or where we're headed, or how to get there, or, well...
Just, how about you save your energy and stop talking, and we'll just go.
I'm reaching out for the orrery.
Okay. He set it on the table for you.
Okay.
Yeah. Oh, I'm in no way ready for a journey today. I mean, there's plans to be made, and I have to set up someone to feed the cats. And I mean, we can stay. You have a fortress down there. Everyone here is very friendly. We can take our time.
We're gonna, now that we've got the direction, we're gonna have to go. You can come with us or not.
Well, here's the thing. We don't really have a more specific location than my working theory. And here is what I think. If I have forgotten it, it must be a forgotten thing. That tracks, right? I'm not crazy. Well, I'm mad, but I'm not stupid. It must be a forgotten thing if I've forgotten it. And multiple people must have forgotten it, so it's a forgotten thing. And there is a place in the Feywild that you can find forgotten things. I mean, things that are forbidden to be spoken of, which, sort
That's
of
where we're going.
sounds a little like that thing you have. But
Where we're going.
there's a problem.
What's that?
I don't know where that is.
You don't know what?
Where that is? It's rumored to be somewhere deep underneath the Merkendraw. The Merkroot Trade Moot is what it's called, but I don't know anybody who's ever been there. You in the
David?
front?
If we're trying to get to the place where all lost things go, we just need to get lost.
This little fellow has a point.
I'm having flashbacks to Unico. This is great.
A unique insight. We'll file it away. I'll think about that one for a while. I'll give it some thought.
I can write it down if that helps.
Oh, that would be fantastic. I mean, it would be much easier for me to do for you to do that just right here than it would be for me. I mean, I would have to travel very far from here to get really and truly lost. I've got to know the Vale here very well. Dewglimmer Vale is very pleasant, and I've made a bit of a life here, I think, probably. And you, on the other hand, could get lost here rather easily. I mean, I'm not sure you know where you are now. Nope, I see by the blank looks on your faces that I have surmised correctly. So, perhaps we can run that experiment. You could just go get lost. Oh, that sounded mean. I meant you could lose yourselves.
No, just stop.
Okay.
There's no good way to say that.
I suppose that's true. What if you think does that sound like a plan? I stay here and you get lost and I try to find you and we play a nice game of hide and seek?
I am likely to trust ClickClack.
You look a
I'm
little
like
scared when you say that.
I am likely to trust your internal gear mechanism.
Which I will be completely ignoring for us to get lost.
Yeah.
Would your knowledge of Arcana help us in this situation? Anyone? Says Stan.
I mean...
She's got a bigger Arcana than I do.
Let me think about it. I don't know. Does the 16 get me anything?
He mentioned the Merkroot trade moot, and that does show up in several fairy tales about, it's a place where heroes in the Feywild find items that are forbidden even in the Feywild. Things that are forgotten and lost and forbidden and never spoken of. There's no listing of like a way in. There's no secret password or rock you're supposed to kick twice or anything like that. It's referenced but not described.
Okay. Well, then maybe getting lost is our best option.
Is it lost or forgotten?
Hmm?
Is it lost or forgotten? Sorry.
I certainly hope it's lost.
Forgotten is trickier.
Yeah. I don't have spells.
Can we... Has anyone obviously engaged in our conversation, watching or listening to it?
There are a few pixies keeping an eye. The Eladrin is also listening and interested.
I am gonna engage the Eladrin once Maud has done his bumble off a different direction.
He's really easy to distract. You can tell just like as the more he talks about the book and the quest, the less cogent he gets.
And
Yeah.
and to the Eladrin. So do you think getting lost would work?
Perhaps. It's a dangerous option, but getting lost in the Merkendraw is... Well, that's really death. I mean, that's how someone is never heard from again, really. It's, even for a native, one does not just wander the swamp hoping to stumble upon what you need. There are those in the land who have that sort of information.
Where might I find one that we could speak to?
Well, if I knew of any, I would certainly have already told Madweight Maud, because while he is pleasant company and makes excellent tea, I'd love to see him get what he needs. He's gotten a bit, settled here, and I think perhaps what he really needs is someone to force him out back on his quest. And maybe, just maybe, that's what you're actually here for. Maybe that's what his book sent him, was someone who would force him to go out and look some more. I like your style.
We can't understand any of this, can we?
She speaks in common.
There's a long, quiet pause, and then you just hear ClickClack go, "Fine!"
But he's also right about taking your time. I can't help but notice that you're all terribly wounded. Is that a white mark there?
You rested? I'm fine. I mean,
You still have like veiny black awfulness coming off of wounds that won't close. These are the things that are keeping your maximum hit points down. I mean, these are wounds that won't close. They're just like, you think it closes and then it festers and pops open in another spot.
those are fine.
They're kind of
shell.
Yeah, they're kind of weeping or seeping at all times. Like you've put bandages on most of them, but like if you didn't, your clothes would stick to you.
Gross.
Yeah, it's bad, and she noticed. Like, I think perhaps you should spend some time getting up to full steam, don't you think?
Is there a healer here?
Well, look out this way. And she kind of takes you to a window and moves over a stack of books that just kind of, most of them just kind of fall over onto one side. And you see there's a window that looks out onto the valley, and she points way, way, way off and says, "Look, do you see that giant tree? They're way off in the distance."
Yes.
That is the Feywild reflection of the nearest Druid's Grove. There's one for every grove. It's part of our deep connection with the Druids in the material world and the Feywild. The Archfey of the area will tend to things on this side, make sure there's no... well, there's not too many shenanigans. But certainly nothing that would be a threat. You see, those groves are a natural thin point between the vales. There's always something that can cross back and forth with very little effort.
I don't know if
tended.
we all just sort of caught our eyes across the room like, oh shit, way home.
It is tended on this side by a set of rather venerable centaurs. They're friendly folks, a druid and a warrior, and they tend to the grove. They keep it protected. I couldn't help but overhear the part where you've got something time sensitive, though, right?
Yes.
I saw your eyes light up when I mentioned a thin spot in the veil. You must know that you would be taking a risk if you were to travel back that way. If you were to catch some archfey on a good day, or follow through with your honorable pact, well then, there could be methods to ensure that you arrive at the correct moment back in the material plane. But if you were to travel through one of these, I mean, it could be a day, it could be 10,000 years. There are stories that work either way. A powerful magician could even possibly use the energies of the Feywild to go all the way into the past.
ClickClack is still staring at the trees ever since you said druid. Like,
That's
they're my people, but they're batshit crazy versions of my people.
warning heard. Warning acknowledged.
No,
I've been
that
terribly
wasn't out
rude.
loud.
I'm
That's just
sorry.
the expression on his face.
I've been terribly rude. I'm sorry. My name is Trella. Trella Goodmay.
Oh, I'd had prepped a name that essentially means hill dwarf in Dwarven, and would be how I introduce myself.
Schmagegi.
Yeah. I forgot what it was. It sounded close. Shoot. I had it prepped. I forgot.
I'm still staring out the window and I just say ClickClack, Lovelace.
A pleasure.
There's totally a dwarf to English.
I think you're muted, Stan. I saw you speak but didn't hear you.
I was just speaking quietly.
Oh.
I just said, Stan, I'm Stan.
Ah,
If everyone else is introducing themselves, then I'm gonna say Struana. Nice to meet you.
a pleasure to meet you all. Welcome to Dewglimmer Vale. On behalf of her ladyship, I'll go ahead and grant you a welcome. Provided the last one of you can pass our little friend's test.
Oh?
Oh, yes. Pinecone there is quite the judge of character. And you...
I try to swallow a squeak on that.
and when your face makes that shape, like forming up, like poof out of invisibility, there's a little and right in front of you is the sprite. He's cute, huh?
I thought you already tested her.
Yeah, but he didn't get what he wanted. He did it invisibly so he wouldn't be embarrassed. But now that he's been called out about it, holds out his hand. Would you like to make a charisma save? You can intentionally fail, by the way.
I got a 13. I don't think it matters too much.
I don't know. I did okay on a 12.
Yeah.
What would you call your emotional state?
Like the same as before, with a little more hope.
Okay. And
Little gemstone of hope just placed right in there.
and what is your alignment?
Like a troll doll.
True neutral.
Okay. So once again, like comes back, makes sure everybody's watching. Kind of once again gives a flourish. It's not so enthusiastic as before, but now everybody's expecting it, so he just wants to make everybody clap. But as they do, you can see he's mad dogging you. He's given, and he gives you one of these. And then he flies off.
He doesn't want to check the crab.
Doesn't
Also,
even...
I totally.
Oh, you know what? Actually, it totally would cross his mind. He does.
I
gives...
totally did that in character. The little heart and kisses, like that happens in character.
Right. He just like that just made him more dour. Yeah, no, he totally checks Lovelace. Go ahead and make a charisma save.
This is very
Okay.
charismatic crab.
She's very pretty.
She's very pretty, but she's still, it's still a single digit. 10.
How would you describe her emotional state?
Annoyed at still being in pain, and but at the same time, like wants to be let out to play,
Okay.
and is kind of bored.
All right. He once again, like, what's her alignment?
Got it good.
Okay. Once again, pulls back, fully enthusiastic flourish, welcomes her, and then like sheathes his sword, gives her a little bow, and pulls out a little acorn cap filled with something like a tiny droplet of something oily, and says something. Does she speak Sylvan? Does Lovelace by any chance speak?
I don't. I think she only understands common.
Give me an insight check for Lovelace.
Oh my god. Oh, that's terrible. 7.
Okay. Well, he seems to be offering it and saying something about it. She doesn't really understand what he's trying to get past. Does she accept it?
When he bowed, she bowed.
Then he bows again.
And this
Are you on top of her?
I'm mounted the whole time.
Okay.
Just assume I'm mounted,
okay.
Unless I say otherwise. It's his safe zone. This giant claw comes over and very daintily takes the acorn.
Okay.
And coughs her up.
Oh, when she takes it, he holds the hand up, and takes it back, and he flies over to one of the little cracks in her armor and just pours the drop onto it, and you can see it effervesce just a little bit. And it doesn't give her any maximum hit points back or anything, but it does relieve her pain. She'll have advantage on fatigue checks for the rest of the day. And then he goes and bows again. She bows again, and he notices. Then he bows really, really low.
She just goes straight down.
Okay. Then he goes even lower. He's waiting for her to tilt a little bit.
Tilt.
Right, to get her eyes all the way down towards the ground. He's just kind of checking to see whether you're gonna fall. You see his eyes look up towards you, and he's still bowing. And eventually, he just reaches his toes, and he's bowed himself completely in half, and his eyes are still looking up, and he sees that the straps are holding. He's just like, rats. Straightens up and goes, yeah, right, between her decks and your tinker, that's all going to be just fine. So he just kind of and heads off back toward the pixies to show off how he can sense the truth of people's hearts.
I'm just a little concerned that the crab was better than me.
We knew that.
I mean, but Struana apparently didn't. I don't think I'm that bad. Jeez.
Yeah, but name the worst thing you've seen Lovelace do.
Attack you while you were on her? I technically I didn't see that.
Didn't see that. And that was mind control. Don't count.
Yeah, that's fair. That's fair.
Yeah.
Anything I do while something else is in control. So the party continues. If there's any other animals or things you would like to engage with, there are several there. Most sorts of forest creatures over the next hour or so make an appearance. It's very Disney. If
there are birds, I want to talk to them about crows.
Okay.
Just as a light conversation, get impressions, move on. Socializing at a party.
Do you know how to speak animal?
No.
I can translate.
Oh, but you can understand Sylvan, but you can't speak it.
Yep.
So you can hear what they want to tell you, but you can't direct the conversation. You are at the mercy of Twitter.
Aren't we all?
Just random things that pop into their head. Hey, you know what I think about?
I mean, have you ever hung out with a bird? It's basically that and repeating the same phrase over and over and over and over and over and over and
Yeah, Twitter's like
want a
that too.
cherry, want a cherry, want a cherry, want a cherry, want a cherry.
If you really want to talk to them, I can translate.
I would like to get a sense of crows if you're down for doing this, although I think we need to share each other's spells or something at some point, and like, you have this one and I have that one.
I don't know if it works that way for rangers. I've never tried.
No.
I was mostly trying to make a joke.
Ah. Well done.
Oh, ClickClack. As evening comes about, you realize that the sun has set. You haven't ever seen it move, but all of a sudden, it's now like sunset post dusk. You know, it's that late twilight. There's crickets that start to come out, but it's not just random crickets. It's definitely like coordinated cricket orchestra somewhere out deep in the brush. That is like it's not random cricket chirping. They're definitely like having duets and things.
The cricket philharmonic.
The Cricket Tabernacle Choir.
The fairies start to turn on their glow. They sprinkle a lot of things with dust, anything that wants to be seen, and give it a little the fairy fire spell. You also see a couple of pixies like make the beaver fly as a prank.
He's got a rudder. He'll be
Right,
fine.
kind of flaps his tail around. This is not the first time they've done this. Oh, come on! kind of flaps his way out toward the water and gets himself somewhere comfortable to wash it off.
You'd think they'd want to avoid the creature with the big fly swatter on his back end.
As that's happening, you see that great big rotund centaur, and with about 3 others trolumphing up the way.
Okay.
Cool.
I'm
Ready to chat again, apparently.
Madweight heads out on the stoop and calls out to them, "Magorin, come on in. I was hoping you'd stop by. Who won?" And they start talking Centaur rugby polo scores. They start trading stats, and sounds like Madweight Mod has a fantasy Centaur polo rugby team. And you see, as they're coming up, they are framed by just massive bonfires and dancing centaurs silhouetted in them down in the valley. It's not going to be a quiet night tonight at your campsite. Goran, welcome. Well, start making small talk. It's like, did I tell you? I finally called some seekers. And Magoran's just like, what, really? That didn't really seem possible. Oh, sorry, wait. What, really? It didn't really seem possible.
I'm just gonna walk forward if this works. In the afternoon, we met earlier. Our fortress was in your way.
Oh, yeah, you would have won through the little outer slit. Well, good to see you out. Thanks for moving for the festival.
Absolutely, it sounds like it was a good time.
But he just kind of makes like a satisfied nicker. Gives his back foot an enthusiastic little stomp. I haven't seen you in the... keep trying to make him Madweight. I haven't seen you in the fields before. You new?
New today, yes.
Oh, fresh ones, huh? Well, you didn't come through the tree, did you?
No, but we're thinking of going that way and talking to the folks there.
Ooh, bad time for that. Bad time for that.
Why is that?
Why, there's some trouble on the outside. Sorry. I don't really know all the details. Sister takes care of all that sort of thing.
I mean, what sort of trouble?
Well, I guess it's just a lot of dead stuff around there right now. It's, kind of all gone, really. If I'm being honest, the last few folks that came through were trying to find refuge, and they just kind of wandered off, and some sort of calamity. I don't really know. I don't trek that side of the Vale. You know what I mean? I got enough to worry about on this side with all these boys.
Everyone else, I'm having flashbacks to watching the two of you and a giant tree and stuff. Yeah.
Right?
Like, oh, gosh, this sounds really familiar.
Or it's a new one and we're missing a current attack.
Yeah.
ClickClack, make me
Yeah.
a nature check. You're the one who might know that.
That's great. 9. I feel like it should be harder than that. Yes, it should be harder than that. 16.
That giant thing there is definitely not a conifer. It is probably a cypress. It is in a marshy area that you can see near the river, like it's riparian there. And you're very, very, very familiar with epically large cypress trees because you live in one. Or have done so in the grove for an amount of time.
Right. So the tree we're seeing is not like the one that we helped protect last time. It's like the one I live in.
Yeah, it's the city's, most likely. Oh, were you refugees from the same problem then? You all look a little south in the face.
Unintentionally, perhaps.
Oh,
I don't think it's quite. Nothing's quite so simple.
Yeah, well, I'm really sorry. I'm a terrible person to break bad news. I'm just awful at it.
I'd rather have it broken at all than not.
Well, all right.
Much,
everything's gone. The whole. I mean, it kicked the leg out of an entire empire. Some sort of awful invasion. I don't know. Like I say, I don't know all the politics. I just know that everybody says that the world has ended. I mean, I'm sure they're exaggerating a little, but this world's fine.
Thank you.
Yeah, you're welcome. Get you a drink. Cheer you up a little.
I'm making small talk stuff. She's just doing the like freaking out back here, small talk at the face, just like, yeah, okay. And we're chatting about the whatever now. That's what I do.
He gives a couple of stance and a whinny and one of the other centaurs that's laden with two giant barrels comes up and he hands out a couple of glasses. He's like, rub mead, because all the noise. At least we could do say sorry. Passes out.
I can hear the feeling of ClickClack freaking out. Like I can hear it. You know what I mean? Like not freaking out, but like that.
No, that's not inaccurate.
And I'm like just like gonna maintain fucking composure right here, right now.
While you're having that last bit of interaction, ClickClack is using Lovelace, taking both of you by the hand in giant claws and pulling you off to the side.
This is like the hook on stage, just like, oh, I'll be right back.
This is a come with me that involves a grapple check if you want to fight it.
Right, Stan's about to take some mead, and they let it go, and he disappears, and the mead just falls.
It's probably the other. He probably goes for the other hand because that would be lower.
Yeah.
It's whatever's the nearest limb. You both been grabbed by giant crab claws and are being dragged to a corner.
I'm just gonna follow this crab now. Yeah.
I won't even make you make athletics
I'll
checks.
be right back.
I'm not looking at either one of you. I'm staring into the void in front of me. And he says, time is different here. It's possible it hasn't happened yet where we're from. It's also possible it's currently happening, or it already did and there's nothing we can do about it. Any of those ways, we need to get back as early as possible. Early our time right now and early in reality.
Yeah. I mean, if
I know
time
we
is
have a mission
passing this
here.
thing-
I know we have a mission here and you have an obligation, and I understand that, and we can't renege on that, but we need to get home.
The obligation, I'm hoping, will send us home.
Then what's our next step? Because we need to be doing it now.
Yeah, best thing I've heard is get lost. Downside of getting lost is kills us.
And there... Oh, keep going.
When he hears that the best idea so far is the one he threw out, he looks just hopeless. It's like everything droops. His eyes stay wide, and everything else just you cut the string. And I had the best idea.
And that freeze frame is where we will cut the episode. Join us next time when the crew gets lost. Good game, folks. This is GameBreakers. Thank you for watching. We play Dungeons and Dragons every week here, 5th edition of Bard's Tale. I'm here with all our players. That's Allison, David, and Diamond looking shell-shocked, which is the perfect way to end a game as a GM. A wild ride that leaves them just blown away. Thank you, everybody, for watching. If you like what we do, hit like. If you want to see more, hit subscribe. And if you want us to get better, check out our Patreon. We want it to get better, too. Thanks. Have a good game.